the front pages that say what the stuff is, and then
Just give the disclosure that you're on the board at Main Street.
Oh, okay. Let's call tonight's Board of Works meeting to order. Brad, would you call the roll?
Yeah, Mayor Eargang.
Here.
Brad Dreyer.
Here.
Jonathan Maple is absent. And Brad Morrissey, I'm here.
We did receive copies of the minutes from last month's meeting. You received the copies. Brad, did you have any questions, comments?
No, I did not.
Then I will just make a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries. We have no items under old business tonight, so we will move directly into new business. The first item of new business is a road closure request for Batesville Main Street on October 3rd. I believe, Amanda, are you here to present that request?
Here. So Batesville Main Street is requesting a road closure for the cul-de-sac on Valley Court for, again, Batesville Main Street on October 3rd for a volunteer party for our volunteers who have helped us throughout the year for events and whatnot. So the residents in this cul-de-sac have already been spoken to and don't have any issues with the road closure. We're requesting from noon to 8 p.m.
Can I get your name again for the record?
Amanda Garcia.
Thank you.
Brad, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, I will just disclose that I am a board member of Batesville Main Street, and the road closure request is the cul-de-sac in front of my house and Blaine's house. We are hosting the volunteer party, so I just want to get that out there before it gets out on Batesville Community Connected. So we have the request. I will make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. We do have a second item that came to our attention after your copies were presented, and this is a personnel contract that we have to address, and I'm going to let Blaine give the explanation.
Yeah, prior to going on our public meeting here, there was an executive session completed where 3 personnel contracts were addressed that are protected under executive session discussion, but the Board of Works cannot take action during an executive session, and so at this point in time, I will ask for approval of the 3 contracts. Contract 1, 2, and 3 provided to you all here today.
Okay. I am going to ask for a motion to approve the 3 personnel contracts.
I'll make a motion we approve the 3 contracts.
I will second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. That is all that we have under the Board of Works tonight. I will adjourn the meeting, and I'll let Brad make the motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I will second it. The meeting is adjourned. Are we all good with going directly into council meeting? I'm sure everybody would like to get home tonight at a reasonable hour. Are you? Actually, can I have, Brad, can I have your,
Houses and crap like that. You don't need it. Close the minutes. But, I mean, some of the talk.
let's call tonight's city council meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
What they propose isn't the right way.
Brad, would you call the roll?
Derek Cox.
Here.
Brad Dreyer.
Here.
Doug Stock.
Here.
Melissa Tucker.
Here.
Beth Enneking.
Here.
Johnny Ergang.
Here.
Brad Marcy. Here. Okay.
Thank you, Brad. Again, you all received copies of the minutes from last month's meeting. Are there any questions or corrections? Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
We have a motion to,
Oh, sorry.
a motion and a second to approve the minutes from last month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. The next item up are department head reports. They were included with the packets in the back. We have a few of our department heads here tonight. I may call on them at some point and when we get into some of this stuff. We will move directly into old business. The first item tonight is a Belterra request, and it is an amended request from the Batesville Area Resource Center. Marie is here to present that.
Thank you. Last month I came and asked for money for the roof, and since the time of the meeting and approval of the motion, I had learned that some other funding was approved. So I'm coming back to ask that the request be amended to a lesser amount of $18,000.
That sounds amazing. No, congratulations on this. We heard about the funding shortly after the meeting or whatever.
Yes. I was unaware at the time of the meeting that that had been approved due to some little things that was not given information of. So yes.
I guess I should ask for a vote to approve the amended request. So do we have a motion to approve the append?
I'll make a motion to amend.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the amended request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next item up under old business is the second reading of ordinance number 2-2026 that involves ACH payment fees. Do you want to comment on that, Brad?
Yeah, again, this is just as part of our ERP update that we have to do because our system was bought out by a new system, and they include this as part of it, and it will allow us to take credit card payments for pool rentals, pavilion rentals, building permits. There we go. The only downside is the way our ordinance is written now, it's a flat $3 fee. They do not offer this option. It's a percentage fee like everything else. And again, it's around 2.8 that it'll be. So your utility bills, if you paid via credit card, you'd be paying $3. If your utility bill is $100 or less, you're paying less. If it's $100 or more, you'd be paying more. However, the ACH credit option or your e-check option is still going to be a free option, and you can still write a check and drop it off too. So this allows us to accept credit card payments for a lot more, and it, yeah.
sorry. Any questions? If not, this is the second reading. I would ask for a motion to approve ordinance number 2, 2026.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval of ordinance number 2, 2026, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. The second item, which is also a second reading, this is ordinance number 3-2026, and it is an amendment to our city stormwater fees. We brought this up for the first reading last month. Our monthly fee for stormwater utility fees for a private residence has been $3.50 per month since 2015. Prior to that, that ordinance went into effect in 2005, and I believe the first 10 years, it was $2.50 a month. Obviously, we have stormwater issues. We had people here last month, a couple months earlier. I see some folks here tonight that were at the planning and zoning meeting that brought up stormwater issues. Therefore, because the amount that we collect under that ordinance simply does not afford us enough money to make any significant improvements, I asked council for this rate increase. The increase would raise the monthly residential stormwater fee to $7 a month. So that's a 100% increase. At $7 a month, that brings us about to the state average. I've had several conversations with consultants and so forth, and that's about the state average. There was some information that I put at your places tonight about some potential stormwater projects that we're facing, the largest of which is and John can, if he wants to comment on this, is relatively a $700,000 project that involves stormwater near the new hospital. And that's a repair project. That is not a new project. Therefore, if anyone has questions,
Yeah, I do. Since that last meeting, I pulled up and I remembered seeing recently that Congresswoman Erin Houchin had put in basically a request for $1.5 million towards stormwater work at the hospital. And I guess it's gone through committee. It's just waiting for vote in the House and the Senate. Has that money been taken into consideration? Or,
yes,
that's more than
I've taken that money into consideration because I actually had a chance to talk with Representative Houchin at the hospital event, and there's no guarantee that that's even going to get a hearing in front of the whole House. But yes, it's certainly been, and we would still have to come up with a local match, and at $3.50 a month.
I thought, like the projects that she did last year, I didn't think that there was matching on it. I thought they're just...
No, there is matching in virtually any project we have. And I know going forward, and number one, if we're not awarded this fund, there will definitely, it's going to take us a couple of years to accumulate that money. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense, in my opinion, to bond a project that size. Brad and I have had a number of conversations. John and I have had some conversations. So yes, I am taking that into consideration. I'm also taking into consideration the fact that we know we have at least 3,600 feet of old clay tile in the ground. That's what we know of, correct? John?
Yeah, according to our GIS I looked at today, it says we have like 3.5 miles of old clay.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3.5 miles, not 3,600 feet. That we will be facing with replacement. Is clay tile life? It probably
pretty much any clay tile that's been in the ground. They stopped using it long enough ago that pretty much any in the ground's past its expected life. I mean, I'm not saying they're all falling apart yet, but they're to the point where it needs to be replaced, and they will start falling apart. It's
Okay.
based on when they stop using clay tile, and if it's still there, it's past its life expectancy.
Okay.
If that money were to be awarded, is that just set for the hospital?
It would be for that project. It's specific to that project.
Okay. Because the estimate on that's only 700,000.
Yeah.
So
It is specific to that project.
Okay.
How much do we collect at 350? How much do we bring in a year's time?
We collect roughly $200,000. 50,000 of it is already committed to a prior bond repayment. So it leaves us $150,000 to $160,000 a year for stormwater. And so over the years, by the time we do regular maintenance and so forth, the fund's not growing a great deal. I don't know, Brad, if you have a.
No one asked questions, so I bring it this time.
You can tell us what the balance is on that account.
I can get that for you, though. But I don't have that.
Oh, now we have our mayor's youth council. But while we're looking for a stormwater fund balance, I will ask you guys. Our mayor's youth council representatives here tonight. I will ask you guys to stand up, introduce yourselves to everyone in the room. Tell us who you are, how long you've been on youth council, and so forth. And you can step to the mic. So.
Hi, my name is Sophia Lysing, and I've been on Mayor's Youth Council for 5 years now.
Thank you.
My name's Lillian Scheibler, and I've been on Mayor's Youth Council for 5 years.
My name's Olivia Lysing, and I've been on Mayor's Youth Council for 6 years.
My name is Mason Lysing, and I've been on Mayor's Youth Council for 3 years.
My name is Brock Scheibler, and I've been on Mayor's Youth Council for 3 years.
As you can see, Mayor's Youth Council seems to run in the family. We have two families represented tonight. Well, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate everything you do. And now I will let Brad address our stormwater balance.
Yeah, so it's 175,000 right now.
Okay. So for an extra $3.50 a month, really, we're looking at raising it by $42 a year, and that would essentially double our capacity to make improvements that are behind on schedule. Correct. Right? I just want to make sure I put the whole math together, right? 42. What? I'm sorry.
For individual.
For individual residences.
Yeah.
And it also, commercial fees were also doubled to the same amount. They go up to $21.02 per month. And industrial fees, again, I asked for double that. They go up to $42.02 a month. And that total amount of funding we get, that includes the commercial and industrial fees that we collect. So that's all part of that $200,000 balance that we're now.
So after the bond, we have 150. So if we double the fees, we'll have 350.
We will be collecting.
In a year.
350,000.
Yes. So are there any other questions?
Yep. I think as part of a growing city, I don't want to raise anything with rates, but understanding the needs that we have with the sewer systems that we have and the uptake that we do, I think that getting in line with the state averages is something that we just are going to need to do, whether it's now or 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It's going to have to catch up with what we're doing. So I make a motion to approve a resolution to raise it. The ordinance. Yes. What number is it? I'm sorry.
Number 3-2026.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 3-2026. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. Perhaps I did not. My wife reminds me sometimes I will respond to a text message and forget to hit send. And I may have done this. I was going to share something. We also in July received an invitation from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management to participate in their MS4 program for storm sewers that would likely add an extra layer of requirements upon us. I will share with you at this point, our position is we are going to request a waiver from that. But I think the day will come when we will be forced into that program, which will involve treating and making sure we're treating stormwater waste as well as, and John, you correct me if I'm wrong, in essence.
Yeah, I know it's
Not necessarily treating, but
not treating like you do sanitary, but just making sure you're limiting
in
sediment and
sediment.
going into the outlets. And there's a lot of reporting and extra layers of stuff you got to do with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Item number 4 tonight is second reading of ordinance number 4-2026, adopting and regulating downtown parking. This item has been up here for a while. I know you've all discussed different options, but the ordinance as submitted, I would like to ask for a vote on the ordinance as submitted. So do we have a motion to move forward with this ordinance? Since we have silence, I will say that this ordinance will die for a lack of a motion. At this point, it would be incumbent upon council to revisit the plan for that. So ordinance number, at which point you can go to Blaine with ideas that you have there, and he could amend or draft an ordinance that was more suitable.
So for clarification there, all 3 of the associated ordinances we will scrap at this point in time. Yeah.
The other 3 were involved the same parking ordinance, amending the parking schedule, and also amending required parking signage to conform to the ordinance as submitted. So those will all die for a lack of a motion at this point, and we will see what you guys come up with and revisit it at that point. That's all the old business. And again, we do have an item under new business that arrived before the copies for the general public were printed, and that is a personnel contract, and I'm going to let Blaine get into that.
Yeah, members of council, similar to the Board of Works, prior to going on the record in the Board of Works meeting, an executive session was completed regarding 3 contracts related to a personnel matter or personnel matters. And so similar to the Board of Works meeting, I will ask for approval from council to approve those 3 personnel contracts provided to you all, discussed during the executive session, that are protected underneath of the executive session statute. And so I would ask for approval of those 3 contracts at this time.
I will make a motion as presented in the executive session for the personnel.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 3 personnel contracts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Our next item up is the clerk treasurer's report.
All right. I'm still alive. Awesome. Yeah, so you're all sent copies of the financial report. General fund, non-utility financial reports doing really well. We're well ahead of where we were expecting to be this year. Wastewater, they've had several repairs come up, so they're a little bit behind as far as those line items. And water and utility, similar. The gas is behind mainly due to the large prepayment of gas supplied that has slowly been funneling through your gas bills to make up for that. And water is exactly where they're expected to be at this point of the year too. Does anybody have any questions? Again, more welcome to come up and we can hang out and go over individual line items. I can get Excel opened and it'll be fun. To me, at least.
Thank you, Brad. Okay. The next item we do need to approve tonight's claims, so I will need a motion to approve claims.
I'll make a motion to approve claims.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have the next item up as the mayor's report, but I see we have a number of citizens here that would, I'm assuming, want to address council. So I'm going to move the citizens up first. That way, if they don't want to hear the mayor's report, they can make their audios after they speak. So does anyone here would like to address council?
If you could just state your full name at the mic too when you come up.
My name is Clay Montang, and I live on Northside Drive, and they're getting ready to put a new street connection off the new subdivision, and I have some concerns before that and during that. Like right now on our corner, because I own the corner lot there by Kroger's, and I know the police has been out to us, and every time they come out, the people slow down. I've had people in my yard. We've had a child hit on a motor scooter out there thing. We've had a car in the retention pond over there. We need some stop signs, and with this new road coming in, we need 3. There's no, I don't know any other way how to put it, but there needs to be one there at Creekside. There needs to be one there at the corner coming from Kroger's, and there needs another one coming out on the Creekside. And they need to cut some trees down, because I was down there trying to imagine after last week's meeting what the view of this is going to be, and there is no usable way to see what car is coming from the right side. And there are so many children. Saturday, just out of, I guess because I was bored, I went out and sat on my front porch, and we had 11 different families with children and mothers pushing babies in strollers on the street. Not on the sidewalk that's provided, but they were on the street pushing strollers, and cars running 30 to 40 mile an hour up through there. And I know they're going up more than 20 mile an hour when they're going towards Kroger's, because the brake lights come on. It is a mess. And then if you go a little further down, you got a car here parked, you got a car here parked, you got a car here parked, and they're just buzzing through them at 40 mile an hour. It is a disaster, and it's, I don't know what else. I guess they think it's Indianapolis 500 through there, but we need some stop signs. I guess you're the sheriff, police chief. We've had their deputies out there, and I know there's only 2 on during the day, so they can't be out there all the time. And you gave me long enough. If you need someone to come and just hand out tickets, I will do it on my time. And I'm serious. On my time, I'll come by and I'll help you give tickets out to slow these cars down anywhere in the city you want to do it. Because I know on 46, with this new pavement, today I was doing 39 mile an hour, and I bet you the guy that passed me was doing 50. I went to the bank, and it's going to get worse. Now there's no rush for him to slow him down. So all I'm asking is for 3 stop signs, and if you really want to know where another stop sign needs to be, it's right there by Advanced Auto. Because when they make that right-hand turn coming off from the back top side of Kroger.
Coming off, after they've come off 229, where they're turning into the lot there by Advanced Auto.
Yep. You need one right there so they can get out of that street.
Yeah, we will, the reason I mentioned the other night when you were here the other night when you were at the planning and zoning meeting was to come tonight because, and again, this is something that we just talked about with parking. This does require an amendment to our ordinance. So, we will ask council to entertain that. To your point on the third, the new drive that will be coming out of
who knows when
phase 2 of subdivision.
But yeah, there's people driving on my sidewalk coming around that curve. There's people driving on my neighbor's curb on the other side. That's where the retention pond is. They're going too fast. And I mean, I don't know what else to say is we're going to get somebody seriously injured at that corner if we don't put some stop signs up and get these people slowed down. And it's not his fault. No, he has tried.
And again, my this is my comment, again, the social media commenters maybe instead of taking task with our police department for not enforcing things, should take a task with their neighbors who don't drive appropriately.
It's not our neighbors. It's Farmington's.
I consider them their resident.
No, they're not our neighbors. They will tell you we are not their neighbors.
Well, they are our neighbors. They live in our town. Nevertheless.
Council, for clarification, the area that Mr. Montague's referring to is Northside Drive, that side road that runs between Kroger and Best Western due north. Behind that row of houses, Mr. Pearson, his company, has submitted a request to develop that into a new in addition subdivision, and the road will tie in at the bottom of that hill behind Kroger's. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. Montague.
No, you are correct.
And so that was presented at APC. They've not yet approved that subdivision at this point in time, but that is set for next month.
That's the area that we're talking about. So that will be something to bring forward with a request on the parking or traffic. And we can certainly do that. And actually, Mr. Montague, I drove out there today because I was concerned about the signage, and I did notice that there are a couple speed limit signs right where you and the neighbors have placed your little placards.
Actually, there is a speed limit sign because the little placard attached to the speed limit.
Right. Yeah, I noticed there was a placard attached to each sign about watching for kids. Yeah. And Chief and I discussed it briefly. I think a few things we can do, and now in my mind, it just tells people how to calibrate their speedometer, but I think we will move our sign out there to get some data on speed or traffic.
That was the other thing. If you get one of the little electronic signs that light up, you can.
Yeah.
Well, it has to go on a street sign, but it's currently on South Street. So.
Yeah, but we will do that. At least for a short period, that will seem to slow people down. But then again, I think they use it for calibration in their speedometer. But nevertheless, I will ask him to get that out. I'm not sure where it is at the moment. We use it quite a bit around town, but we will start there. And again, this will be part of the council's presentation of traffic code change.
I know it's a long process to get through this, but I got to come back every month to remind people I'll be here next month until we get it set. I'm determined now.
Well, thank you. We enjoy seeing you. I just saw you last week too. So yeah. Hopefully you don't have to make multiple visits.
So with
Learned a lot here.
with a new subdivision setup, who decides where these stop signs are going to go as a new layout, or is that council's responsibility to look at those developments before they come, or do we have somebody that looks at that and makes suggestions based on traffic and all those kinds of things?
John, do you want to comment? If you don't,
I'm not sure. I mean, I gave them suggestions, but
they go to tech review.
They go to tech review.
And police and fire are involved in tech review. Now, they may not say where to place stop signs and so forth, but again, John and I discussed it after the meeting the other night, and I don't know that was the intent, but I certainly think it would fit. The parking the signage that you're requesting. We talked about it after the meeting, and we certainly think that can be accommodated.
Okay, good.
Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Ray Wiestefeld, along with Mrs. Ferguson, commander of the American Legion at Batesville's American Legion. What I'd like to do is, I'm on the other side of the coin, is thank you for the donation for our renovation of our restrooms out there. We got them all complete, and we got the Belterra funds, and appreciate that very much. We thank you. So,
just a reminder, this enabled them to make their restrooms handicap accessible for their renters and so forth.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. I'm sorry, you're not Gene, you're Ray. Right. Sorry, I called you your brother. Okay.
Hello again. You may remember I was here Thursday night with a confusing letter that brought me there. I'm Daryl Mowry. I live at the corner of Woodfield and Abbey in Farmington. And I will agree with the gentleman that there are some pretty atrocious drivers in the neighborhood. And that's really just the gist of my concern tonight is the safety of the community. I applaud BPD and the fine job that they do. I know you can't be everywhere all the time, but we do have, some issues in the neighborhood that I think warrant a little consideration. The first thing, when we moved here back in 23, I was told that the intersection at Woodfield and Arlington was originally a four-way stop. And the neighbors there told me that they did not want that Arlington stop sign removed, but it was because someone didn't like stopping in three successive intersections. I've always thought that was a bad intersection based upon the blind spot when you come off of Woodfield. And I know back before Phase 8 was completed, there probably wasn't a lot of traffic, but I've got a picture I'll let you guys have where if you're stopped at the actual stop sign and look left, you just have a few feet of clear street. And particularly if the resident there has a vehicle in the driveway, your view is somewhat prohibited. And again, with the speeders that come down that street, I'm surprised that there hasn't been an accident there. I know that I was told the data showed that there'd been no accidents or concerns there, and that in order for that to be returned to a four-way stop, there would have to be a petition taken. I've not seen anybody that lived in that area that would like to have that remain that way. I saw that on the Batesville traffic schedule. Arlington Woodfield is classed a multi-way stop intersection by Order 9-2005. So if I'm interpreting that, that would, to me, indicate it's a four-way stop, being a multi-way. So I don't know if this is a outdated record or what, but that's of concern. Another concern is that we have numerous residents who like to park in front of fire hydrants. Now, I thought that the guideline was, what, between 10 and 15 feet from a fire hydrant? And you have people that are parking up off of the road, half their car in the grass between the sidewalk and the street in front of a fire hydrant. I know in downtown Batesville, they have yellow curbs there, so I didn't know if that could feasibly be a solution to that. Because I know we've had fire runs where we've had cars parked there, and if they were in need to attach their equipment there, it'd been difficult. Another issue is the parking. We have people that park going the wrong side of the road, and you get cars that park side by side across from each other. And here again, I think the guide is 10 feet is supposed to be accessible between two vehicles on opposite sides. We've had cars where if a rescue unit needed to get through, it'd be pretty rough. And I don't know if, I don't think that we want to have no parking signs and such, but I didn't know if there was any kind of solution that could maybe help with that issue. And I think, as I said last week, I know with North Side, when you go down North Side, it's just like you're on a ski slope going left and right, back and forth, and you get somebody coming at you and they want to go first. You just have to be real cautious. And then lastly, what has concerned me is that in Farmington, Phase 8, we have sidewalks, and I don't know if it was because the sidewalks didn't connect to the existing curb, but they're not ADA compliant in that they don't have ramps. They go down the street and then turn. The situation that I'm worried about is we have handicapped residents who are in wheelchairs and then have mobile carts, and when they go out, they have to go in the street because they can't get, when they get to an intersection, through the grass and the curb. So with, drivers that aren't paying attention, I don't want to see, someone injured in that regard. So those are just some concerns I wanted to voice. I know there's probably a lot more pertinent issues with the communities and such, but that's kind of been on my mind for about 3 years now. So I found out this was the vehicle to relay that to you. So I wanted to take that opportunity. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Daryl. We can certainly, again, and it may be a situation with council, we may want to put a call out for neighbors because I think Bruce was about to stand up, and I'm going to see if I read his mind, but there was a gentleman last month that brought a stop sign issue up at Depot and South, right by Depot Flats or the Ron Weber. So that's, as you all recall, we had a gentleman here in a wheelchair who brought that up. So that would be another item that would need to be addressed by an amendment to the code. Did I read your mind, or did you have something else? Okay. Thank you.
Mike and I actually spoke on that just briefly earlier today, so I don't know, Mike, if you want to give a report back on your findings there, not to put you on the spot.
Over on the south side, when we ran the sign, I just took 8 days of data. Once we put it up, I would assume that it's up. People are slowing down more now. The average over the 8-day period says it's showing 4,100 vehicles all across going through there. That it was only 15.3 miles an hour is the average of all those. The fastest we had going through there was 36. So I know it's the gentleman that came in here said about 40 to 50 miles an hour. When you're in an area that has vehicles on both sides, it's a very narrow road. People going 25, 26, 30, it is going to look extremely fast to people that, haven't had training on being able to gauge how fast the vehicle is actually going. So I understand completely. A lot of places that we do find that people come in and have that complaint that it's may not be to the level of the 40s or whatever, but it is going above the 20-mile-an-hour zone, and I understand that. My biggest suggestion to those that have the complaints on speed and or parking issues, while those are occurring, please call us. We can't address things in the past when it comes to things like that, but if it is a parking issue, please call us. We'll go out there and we'll talk to the people that are parked there. We find a lot of times when there's parking issues, just talking to people, it solves it a lot faster and honestly easier than going out and trying to cite people and tow people from parking spots. And then at the same time, I know people have brought up citations multiple different times. The past couple meetings, I pulled some numbers just over this year alone. I think we've cited over 127 citations this year within our town. That's not including misdemeanor arrests or OWI arrests that are based off our traffic stops. You can see in our packet just for this month alone within July, that includes the 4th of July time and everything else that we're already required to do. We made 112 traffic stops. So we're trying to make traffic stops. We're working to do traffic stops, but in the end, if people aren't willing to obey the speed limit, if I'm not sitting there, they're not going to slow down. So we'll continue to do what we're doing. Unfortunately, it's not always seen as the best, but we're doing what we can.
And again, to kind of echo his comment, if you see it, call them. I know a lot of times it's you see it, and then by the time they get out there, to your point, they see an officer out there, so then they slow down. But nevertheless, sometimes somebody's not going to, and there is a chance, but we will continue to work to address those issues. And again, I think council has some notes of some locations that you have all expressed interest in. And, I will just share a brief history with Daryl. That stop sign was removed at the same time. A number of other signs were removed in town. And I think in retrospect, we had a councilman there who was talking about idle traffic, causing pollution and making it more difficult on cars making it more difficult for traffic flow. And I will share, I probably voted at that time in that manner, but I've since stopping at a stop sign does not generate much car idling and pollution and, stress on the car. Stoplights, maybe a little bit more so. But I appreciate you bringing that to our attention.
If I remember right, and because I kind of remember that whole, I don't know that I was on council, but I was at the meeting. It seemed like there was a lot of members from out at Arlington that opposed that stop sign, didn't they?
Yeah, there were a lot of people out there that didn't want to stop there. So it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those neighbors, a lot of the older neighbors voiced concern. They didn't want that third stop sign, it seemed like.
Yeah, well, it's.
Before Phase 8 came in, that was really a moot intersection because I don't think there was really a lot of traffic that fed into Arlington. So just hearing that there is the potential for 45 more houses behind us, and if residents had 2 cars each, 80 more cars, with the current flow of traffic that come off of Abbey Road, Woodfield, Maggie Lane, Lily Lane now, it seems like there's a lot more. So that's just kind of, what I thought be the justification for it, and the blind spots kind of.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? You want to step to the mic, please, and state your name?
Salvador Blanco here on behalf of the Batesville Soccer Club. So we're requesting for speed bumps or humps to be installed alongside the driveway that leads to the concession stand, just for safety reasons, just because we have a lot of kids in the program. I think we average about 500 a year, typically. So a lot of kids are getting out of these vehicles, and obviously when they're getting out, they're kids, so they run out onto this driveway. So there could be a car going down there and there's no like speed limit posted there or anything.
I'm sorry, Salvador, can you tell me specifically where? I thought you were requesting on Pullman Street.
So that as well.
Between the Plex and.
Yes. So on our driveway, and then my next request was along Pullman Street as well. So kind of like the driveway, I don't think it has an official name. I guess it bumps up next to John Street where the street department's at. So right there, we're kind of just requesting like speed bumps or humps, and then maybe some concrete barriers where the gravel sits. For that reason, so cars don't go around those speed bumps or humps. And then on Pullman Street, on the other side of the Pullman Street, there's the Plex, there's the disc golf, this new skate park, the bike pump track, and the climbing rock wall. And then obviously on the other side, it's the soccer fields. During the baseball months especially, there's cars parked in the grass on both sides. So you can't, it's very tight. So cars, I think speed limit's posted there. I don't know if it's 20 miles an hour, but you can definitely tell like cars are going probably close to that, if not faster. So, just requesting like for speed bumps or humps along there as well, just to kind of, there's a lot of kids, especially running around in that area. And then the final thing I'm requesting is kind of like surveillance cameras around the soccer facility, there around the street department, or even over by the Plex, just because there is a lot more recreational activities going on now. And then here recently, we've been dealing with like some kind of vandalism issues on the soccer fields, where there's like dirt bike tracks, and they're digging up the grass and everything, and we have to fill those for obvious safety reasons, because there's kids running on the field and we don't want them to break a leg or anything like that.
Just real quickly, I mean, have you had reports of that?
Not that I'm aware of. People guys called to us or reported?
No, so I just go out there and kind of like patch it myself. We have all other board members that do it as well.
Just be sure to report that.
Okay. And then here recently, I think just last week, there was actually a stolen bike recovered at the soccer fields. So that's kind of like, just for safety reasons and for vandalism issues, like I think it'd be a nice thing to get security cameras installed around the complex. Mm-hmm.
So I think more of what your biggest is like the concession stand area.
Yes.
Of the Plex. Okay. It's something we can look into. I forget how many cameras we replaced this year, but I forget the number. It was significant. Okay. Yeah, we can certainly look into that. And again, I may want to meet with you so you can point out exactly by the concession where you were talking. I shared with John that you would be coming to the meeting tonight, and we can kind of look at Pullman. I think locally the biggest issue people have with speed bumps is they were prototypically the old abrupt bump, and I don't think we need something so abrupt, but we'll be happy to work with you. John and I have kind of talked about it. We would obviously need to consider where the ideal placement is for those, but we'll be certainly happy to talk with you. And if you could again point out there by your concession area coming off John Street, I think where you were talking there, I was not familiar with that area. I thought it was specifically John Street.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pullman Street.
Yeah. So it was Pullman Street, and then it's like, I don't think it has a street name. So that's kind of like, it's kind of confusing, but it's basically if you're turning off Delaware Road, if you're on Delaware Road turning left, going to the concession stand, that kind of I guess.
That gravel parking lot, basically.
Yeah.
The gravel road that goes straight back to the.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it does have a street name.
On the side of Knights of Columbus, right? Is that what?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I will do my.
One more here.
Oh, we do have. I'm sorry, Terry. I saw people walking out, and go ahead.
Hi, Terry Flannery. I still think it's an important thing for the council to address the parking downtown in one way or another. I sent to those of you who I could get email from. I could not. I've looked, did it for Doug and for Brad on the city council page. There's no email address for you, so I don't know how your constituents are supposed to get a hold of you if they want to. The others all have it, but I sent pictures. There's 6 different parking signs within a 3-block area of Walnut, George, and Elm Street, and some of them contradict. There's a 30-minute parking on Walnut that has arrows pointing both directions, and it's clearly on a yellow line. So my concern is some sort of consistency, so visitors and even residents know, can I park here without getting a ticket? Can I park in the 30-minute parking across from the post office on George Street after 5 o'clock? And it's always empty, as pictures on social media say, because one side says 15 minutes, the other says 30. You go in, you do your business at the post office, and you're gone, so you don't get a ticket. But there's also a city ordinance right now on the books that says, I think like 15 feet from Elm down George Street East, a 10-minute parking. Dr. Daftari still has an assigned parking on George Street. He's been gone for some time now. So there's a lot of confusion about ordinance that if you go and read on the books that are there. So, I mean, I understand no one wanted to make a motion to that. Are you still actively as a council working on the downtown parking?
We are, excuse me, Terry. As we mentioned before, as council, we will go through all of those signs and stuff like that and see, but we have to make a decision on what we think is best and the input that we've had. But you are correct. There are some that are not consistent, and there are issues with 30-minute parking, and people want to park across from the post office to the Sherman and stuff. So we are aware of those, and we're going to have to address those. Yes.
Okay.
We're working on them.
I know I wasn't here last month, but the Main Street and the new parking or park that is proposed in the public parking, which I forget how many lots or parking spot was going to be taken away. But, you know, once again, it's a whole big picture. And is that project moving forward? Is there any update on that?
We have not. The intent is to move it forward, but we have not heard back on the grant.
Okay.
If the grant goes through, yes, it's going to move forward.
And was it 16 parking spaces that get eliminated? I forget.
Terry, I don't recall. I believe it may have been a net of 11.
It was somewhere between 10 and 17 for some reason. Sticks out in my mind, Miss Flannery.
Okay. So I just wanted, if we're taking away, we have to make sure that we're giving flexibility in the rest of the parking, which I think the biggest one right now is the 30-minute parking across from the post office that, as you've probably seen on social media, sits empty all the time because no one wants to use it without fear that they're going to get a parking ticket. And with the Sherman House, or I'm sorry, the beer house at the Sherman continuing to get popular, you know, people want to be able to park close. So, but
my experience has been in the evening, it doesn't inhibit anybody. At lunch, I would agree.
Yeah.
And again, the fact that we didn't have a vote after tonight was because I think council agrees that they probably need to revisit what we're looking at.
Okay. And I do have to admit, I just got back into town a week ago, and I'm not sure, John, if we have lines parked out here. And what's the holdup on that?
I submitted an appointment to the state, and I was just waiting to hear back. I'll email them about it.
Okay. The phone conversation I had with them, I thought they indicated you already there was an active permit out there.
I don't have an active permit, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
you. I think we discussed part of that project. They had planned on striping it, that they did how many years ago. So we did not file our own permit request because they had that. So when you brought that to our attention, John did submit, I think, or followed up with them.
Yeah, when
to find out if they're going to do it.
Yes, and then they said they wanted us to do it, so I submitted the permit, and
So we submitted a permit
I
request.
can call them on Monday and get you an answer, I'm sure. This is particular on 229 where the new construction was done, which looks great, but parallel parking, the city cannot do it because they are state highways, which so many people in Batesville are confused about what's state versus what's city controlled.
Yeah.
But it would be nice that, because it's a full house parked out there tonight, and maybe more cars could have been parked there if the lines were in place. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to wait just a second this time. Okay, I'm going to do a real abbreviated mayor's comments. The first time I'm going to mention the Parks and Recreation Board meeting is August 19th. We've kind of been in the midst of a 5-year plan for the parks, and the SERPC, who they've been working with on that plan, will be at the Parks and Recreation Board meeting. So if anyone has comments about their 5-year plan, they will be at the meeting on August 19th, which is, I believe, a week from Wednesday. And that meeting starts at 6:30. The Tap and Chisel Craft Brew Festival is this weekend, rain or shine, August 15th, and it will occur on Walnut Street between Pearl and George, and then George from Walnut down to Main. Early bird starts at 2 p.m. Blaine, I think road closure begins at 12.
That's my recollection, yes.
The road closure in that area will begin at 12. That way it gives people that are using the post office relatively easy access to that, as always. I want to thank Batesville PD and Fire Department and Mayor's Youth Council for putting on the National Night Out last week. The weather was actually nice. It felt pretty good in the shade. Now, those guys might not have been as cool because they were grilling, but I appreciate that event. Thank you. We have one other item and it will be in September. This past year, House Bill 1001 passed, and the gist of that was, I will just say what I think the state wanted to take away local communities' rights to zone, particularly residential zoning. There's been a lot of talk about the need for affordable housing and so forth. The legislation did get watered down, thankfully. Our lobbying organization fought it quite a bit because we still feel that local zoning is where that ought to occur, not at the state level. But part of that requirement does require us to have a public meeting with our area plan commission to review our building and zoning codes. That meeting, and it's a public meeting, a hearing, so that meeting is going to be in September. John, do we have a date yet?
September 3rd's the next plan commission, so that's the plan.
The plan is to have that public hearing at that meeting. I think that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything? All right. Our next meeting will be September 14th, and I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. The meeting's adjourned.